As we welcome people to the video, I'll let you know that we are going to be using a strap today, just a regular yoga strap. So if you could have that nearby, that would be great. I'm going to make sure my volume is up. And we'll get started over on our mats. And you can start lying down or sitting up, your preference. I'm going to start sitting up, whatever feels good for you. And I like to sit up on something. So you could start sitting in a chair too if you like. Whatever you choose, take some time to ground yourself. So if you're lying, feel your feet on the floor, feel your body on the floor. If you're sitting, feel the parts of your legs that are in contact with the floor. Feel your sitting bones rooting down. Feel your spine, the line of your spine. And you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever's your preference. But we begin our time on our mats by trying to draw our awareness to what we're experiencing in the present moment. So let's let all thoughts of whatever was going on earlier this morning, we'll let go of that. And we'll try not to think about what's ahead after this morning's class. And we'll try to focus our awareness on what we're feeling right now. You might begin with, oh, that's what I forgot to do, was to mute you guys. I knew there was a step that I was forgetting. But let me just do that real quick so we don't have any of that background noise. All right, there we go. So, checking in with your physical body. And when we check in with our physical body, maybe everything's feeling great. But if we have some issues, some stiffness or tightness or pain or discomfort, it's an opportunity to connect with that awareness in a way that is not judgmental. So rather than being, hard on ourselves or getting down on ourselves for the fact that we have an injury or pain, can we hold that awareness with kindness and love and understanding, right? Like we all are full of imperfections, and learning to love ourselves with all our flaws is a wonderful practice, because not only is it good in treating ourselves well, but then we can expand that practice towards others, recognizing that even with the flaws in others, there's so much that there is to be valued and treasured and appreciated. So we'll do this practice focusing on ourselves this morning, being kind to ourselves, loving. And in that way, it'll give us an example of how we want to treat others. So not only checking in with how we're doing physically, but now maybe checking in with how we're feeling mentally and emotionally. And again, with a lens of kindness and support and understanding. So as we're breathing in awareness and kindness and understanding, let's begin to deepen our breath. Let's begin to let the breath become more expansive, expanding out into the ribs, front, sides, back, and up into the chest, into the upper back. And then let's follow it up with a nice, complete, full, deep letting go of the breath, letting it empty all the way out. as we're practicing this full deep breathing, can we also think about softening the roof of the mouth? That act of softening the roof of the mouth can create a lot of ease in the muscles in the face, in the head, in the neck. Breathing deeply in a way that is relaxed. There's a lot of muscles that have to work to take a full deep breath in. But can we get those muscles that have to work working without getting other muscles that unnecessarily involved? Keeping the facial muscles relaxed, softening the roof of the mouth. So let's take one more of these full, deep, expansive breaths in and out. And as that next breath has emptied, you can begin to transition to a more natural breath rhythm. And before we move into our movement practice, if you'd like to set an intention this morning, you can do so. My intention this morning is to invite in kindness. Just focus on being kind to myself. And you might choose that, or you might want to choose another intention. But do so now, if you're so inclined. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and we'll make our way to lying down. And you're going to want to have your strap nearby. And let's go ahead and hug our knees in and just kind of release the low back, sway a little bit. Maybe take the knees apart and take a breath and just let the weight of your hands rest there so that the thighs kind of stretch out a bit. Take another breath. And then bring your knees back and drop your feet down. We're going to use our strap right away. And let's place it around the ball of one foot, either leg, doesn't matter. The leg that doesn't have the strap, the other leg can be foot on the floor or leg extended. I'm going to do leg extended. And then as you're holding the strap, let your leg fall away from you so that you're holding the leg up. The weight of your leg is in the strap and your hands are holding it up. So your leg isn't doing any work to hold itself there. It's being supported by the strap. And your leg, as it is away from you, is straight. And then just really slowly, gradually with your hands, start to bring your leg toward the ceiling. And just take your time. Oh, I have an ant. Carpenter ant, so I'm sorry, but I don't want a carpenter ant in my house. I've seen a couple. All right, so we're going to lift the leg further and further up until you get to the point where you need to bend your knee a little bit because that's too far up. And then let it fall away again. Let it rest into the strap. And again, slowly, gradually bring the leg up until the point where if you go any further, it's a little uncomfortable. And one more time, let it fall away. And then bring it up. Yeah. So you get to the point where you can have the leg somewhat up and you can keep it fairly straight, but you're getting a nice stretch in the back of that leg. And then let's put the two parts of the strap in the same hand as the leg. And we're going to start to make circles with the leg. We're going to let the leg go out and we're going to let it come around and go back up. And we're going to let the hips move with this movement. Sometimes we do these leg circles and we try not to let the hips move. But for now, we're going to let the hips move. So it's just more about creating movement in the hip, range of motion in the hip. So circling that leg around, you can make those circles nice and big. And then the next time your leg comes up, just change direction on that circle. Go the other way. Circle that leg around. Nice big circles. Yeah. And then the next time your leg comes up, we're going to take that leg across. So you're going to twist, you're going to roll till that leg is parallel to the floor. And then bring the leg up and then let it roll over to the other side. So it's going to open out to the side. So the leg is going to come up and it's going to twist across, kind of more in. So you're kind of twisting your lower body. And we're going to bring the leg up and let it open out to the side. And then one more time, bring it up and bring it across. And then bring it up and open it out to the side. Great. All right, let's bring that leg up and then we're going to change legs. So put the other foot in the strap and then the leg that was in the strap, you're going to lower it down. And you're going to hold the strap with two hands and allow the leg to fall away. And then with your hands, just slowly, gradually start to bring the leg up. So you feel a little stretch in the back of the legs, not too much of a stretch this first time, then let it fall away again and do the same thing. So just a nice gradual lengthening in the back of the thigh. Let the leg fall away. And then one more time, bringing that leg back up. And then put the two parts of the strap in the same hand as the leg. And we're going to start making circles, circling that leg around. So you're just kind of creating movement in the hip, getting a nice stretch in the leg, and circling that leg around. Nice big circles here. One more time in this direction. And then let's just go the other direction. Circle that leg around. Nice big circles. Loosening up. And then the next time the leg is up in the air, we're going to let it cross all the way over until the leg is parallel to the floor. And then we're going to bring it up and let it go open out to the side. And then we'll bring it up and bring it across. And we'll bring it up and open it out to the side. And one more time like that, up and across. And opening out to the side. Great. Then we're going to bring the leg up and then we're going to bring both legs up into the strap. And actually, we're going to set the strap aside and we're going to have both legs up in the air. And now we're going to try and keep the hips steady and stable. You could even place your hands on your hip bones. And we're going to start with little circles, right? So now we're going to start to wake up the core because now if we try not to keep the hips moving, we're going to have to stabilize. We have to stabilize and engage the abdominals to keep the movement in the legs and keep the hips from rocking and rolling. So we're just circling around, little circles here in one direction. Let's change direction. So you're kind of bracing your core a little bit here to minimize movement in the trunk, in the hips. Circle around a couple more times. Great, and then come to center. Let's release our feet to the floor. Lift our heads up and clasp our hands beneath the head, letting the weight of the head rest into the hands. We'll take a breath in. As we exhale, we're going to start to knit the lower ribs down into the belly. Feel the back of the lower ribs pressing into the floor as we curl up head, neck, and shoulders. And then we'll inhale and release back. Once again, exhale, knit the ribs and curl up. And then we're going to reach the arms forward towards the knees. Now, could we keep the ribs knitting down into the belly, even as we start to lower our shoulders back down and release our head down? And we'll take our arms overhead. Can we take our arms overhead while we're still knitting the ribs into the belly? Then take those arms out wide, bent arms like cactus arms. And then we're gonna sweep them down and around, and we're gonna scoop up, knitting the ribs, reaching forward, lifting head, neck, and shoulders. And then keep the ribs knitting into the belly as you roll back and down. Head goes down, arms reach overhead. We'll breathe in. Then elbows go wide. We're going to scoop the arms down and then reach forward, reach up, knit the ribs, curl up. Again, keep the ribs knitting in as the head goes back. Arms reach overhead, breathe in. Exhale, elbows go wide. Scoop your arms around, knit your ribs, curl up, head, neck, and shoulders, reach forward. One more time, keep the ribs knitting in and down as you roll the head back, reach the arms overhead, breathe in, and then let the elbows go wide. We're going to have our arms out wide in cactus arms. You could have the back of the hands on the floor. If that's not comfortable, you could just have the upper arms on the floor and your hands toward the ceiling. We're going to, again, take our legs up in the air. We'll take a breath in. As we exhale, let's reverse curl. So just curl the hips up and off the floor and then roll back out and breathe in and exhale and curl up and inhale and roll out and exhale and curl up and inhale and roll out. We're going to exhale and curl up, inhale and roll out. And then let's take the legs over to one side. Doesn't have to be far. And then bring them back up. And then curl the hips up and then roll back out. And then take the legs over to the other side and then bring them back up. So we're going to curl the hips up and roll back out. Take the legs to that first side and then bring them back up. Curl the hips up. Release that curl. Legs go to the other side. So the side waist has to work here to bring the legs back up. Low belly works to curl the hips up. Release that curl. Legs to the other side and back up. Let's do that one more time on each side. We're going to curl up, release the curl, legs over to the side and bring them back up. Last time we'll curl up and roll out and legs to the other side and bring them back up. Great. All right, release your feet to the floor. Let's make our way around onto all fours. So bring yourself around to kneeling on all fours. And we typically start with knees right beneath hips and wrists beneath shoulders. But this morning, I'd like you to take one knee about 8 or so inches behind, and then the other knee. So your knees are behind your hips. But then we're going to take our hips back over our knees, which is going to mean that we end up with our arms more out in front of us. And then can we lower down onto our forearms? So we're going to try to lower onto forearms, keeping the elbows in line with the wrists and the shoulders. And for some of us, that'll be easy to do, and for some that may be challenging, and it'd be hard to keep those elbows in line, but make an effort, and then straighten your arms again. So we're going to lower down and straighten, moving from the arms. So the hips really aren't going front and back. We're just lowering onto the forearms and then pressing back up. And if your elbows don't stay in line with your shoulders, that's okay. Just they might be wider and that's fine, but you're kind of working to draw them in. And as we do this, we start to create some work in the muscles in the back of the shoulders. We're targeting the work here. If it gets to be too much, of course, check in, be kind, do what feels right for you. If you have some shoulder issues, this can be really challenging. So let's do a few more, if that's right for us this morning. And the next time as you come down onto your forearms, if that feels all right for you to be here, could you lift your hips up? So it's like a forearm elbow dog. So if that feels all right, press your forearms into the floor and try to create some space across your upper back. If that's too much, you could just do regular down dog here. Let's take a breath in and out. And then we'll lower down onto knees. And let's sit back into child's pose. And we'll do extended child's pose with the arms way out in front now. Letting the forehead drop to the floor. Breathing in and out here. Let's take one arm and reach it further up towards the front middle of the mat. And then take that same hip as that arm over to the side and back. Look under that arm and breathe into that side. And let the breath go. Slide that arm back and slide the other arm up towards the front middle of your mat and take that same hip over to that back corner of the mat. Maybe look under that arm and breathe into that side. Nice big stretch. And then separate your arms about as wide as your shoulders, and we'll start to transition to downward facing dog. Regular old down dog here. Now our hands are pressing down. We can still try to create that space across the upper back. Let's release the head, shake it out a little bit, and maybe pedal the heels down, bending a knee and pressing a heel down. Just nice and freeing up the lower leg here, calf and ankle. And then go ahead and bend both knees a bit. Draw your hips way up and back. Breathe in and out. And then let's walk our hands back towards our feet. We'll lower our heels down and ending up folded over, bent knees, feet nice and planted. Take a breath into your upper back. Allow the breath to release. And then we'll draw the belly in and begin to roll ourselves up. Nice and gradually here. Taking some time to unfurl the spine, stacking our vertebrae. Eventually, we'll let our head roll up. As our feet are planted, let's reach our arms out wide. And as we inhale, we'll reach overhead, lifting the ribs, lifting the heart. And then we'll exhale our arms down at our sides. Great. Okay, let's pick up our strap. And we'll come to stand with our feet beneath us. We'll hold that strap maybe about a little wider than our hips. And as we root down, let's stand nice and tall, nice and broad across the collarbones. And we're going to pull the strap apart and bring the arms forward. So we're working to pull that strap apart. Could we bring the arms forward without bringing the shoulders forward? So keep the shoulders on the shoulder blades on your back. As your arms are forward, you're pulling your upper arm bones kind of back into your shoulder sockets. So the arms aren't reaching forward. So we're going to lower down. We're still pulling the strap apart and bring the arms forward. And lower down and bring the arms forward. We're still pulling it apart. This time we're going to lower it down. We're going to bring the arms forward and then we're going to take the arms up and overhead. And the arms can be a little wider. You can take your arms a little wider if that would feel good. And then bring the arms forward and down. So we're just going to do that. We're still pulling the strap apart. As we take the arms overhead, can we lift the heels up as well? And then as the arms come down, we'll lower the heels down. So as we pull the strap apart, we reach overhead and lift the heels, and then we slowly lower. So it's a little balance work, balancing on the balls of the feet, activating the muscles in the lower leg. And we're getting those shoulders to really work because we're still pulling that strap apart. So we're warming up the shoulders here. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Last one like this. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And as the arms come down this time, let's give them a break. We can stop pulling the strap apart. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And then now we'll keep our feet on the floor, but we're going to take the arms overhead again. And from here, we're going to pull it down right in front of the chin. That's one option, up and down in front of the chin. Or could we take it behind the head? Can we take it behind the head without the ribs popping forward? So keeping those low ribs knitting into the belly, you're pulling the strap apart, and we're just gonna go up and down a few times. So if it works to go behind the head, do that. If that's too much, you can do it up and down in front of the chin. Either way, you're pulling that strap apart. And if your hands are in front of your chin, we're gonna just pull out to one side and back, and pull out to the other side and back. If our hands are behind the head, we might widen our grip. We're going to go back and down and then bring it back up. Trying not to arch the back or let the ribs pop forward as we do that motion. So just working the shoulders, mobility, giving them a little stretch here, muscles in the chest as well. And then the next time your arms come up, we're going to reach overhead, bring the arms forward, lower it down, and we can shake it out. And we can set the strap aside for now. And let's come to the front of our mats. So we're going to stand in mountain. We're going to root down to stand tall. Check in with your posture. Check in with your connection to the ground. As we're grounding down here, let's reach the arms out and inhale and reach overhead, lifting the heart. As we exhale, we'll swan dive forward. Knees can soften as we fold over, releasing the head here. Let's bring hands to shins and inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head. We'll exhale and fold over. And let's bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Grounding down to lift up and back, we'll breathe in. As we exhale, let's lower to straight arm plank. We're going to hold here for a bit. If you need to drop to your knees, feel free to do so. Really spread the weight out in your thumbs, pointer finger, knuckles. Take a breath here. If you can, try a little bend in your elbows. Elbows pointing back toward the heels. It just fires up the backs of the arms a little bit here. Can you do that without letting your hips drop? Keep the hips supported. Take another breath. And then if your knees aren't down, bring down your knees, and then we'll all lower down onto belly. As we come down, let's really let the chest sink into the floor. The nose can smush into your mat, then lift the chin, the nose, and just look straight into the mat as your chest sinks a little closer. As our chest sinks closer, you might notice how your shoulder blades come more onto your back. Let's slide the shoulders up towards the ears and slide the shoulder blades down toward the heels. We're going to do that again. Can feel kind of nice. Slide the shoulder blades up toward the ears. Slide the shoulder blades down toward the heels. And then just let your shoulder blades land right in their sweet spot. And then from right between the shoulder blades, start to lift the chest up. Pull your heart forward as the heel of your hands press back. Come into baby cobra. Only high enough that you could still lift your hands up. You're not using your arms. Then lower back down. Let's try that again. Inhale up to baby cobra. And this time we will lift our hands. We'll lift the elbows and squeeze them in. Kind of feel the strength, the muscles of your upper back working. And then release your hands, release your chest. This time hands stay down. We'll inhale up to baby cobra. And if we like, we can come up a little higher into cobra. And then we'll lower back down. Let's push up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees. And then lift the hips up and back to down dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's look a little forward and walk our feet up towards our hands, planting our feet beneath us. And we'll sweep the arms out. Inhale and rise up, reach up. And exhale, arms down at our sides. All right, let's do that again. Grounding down, we'll reach the arms out and up. Breathe in. Exhale and swan dive forward. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to down dog, taking a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, a little bend in your elbows. Take a breath here. Exhale and lower all the way down onto belly. Inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. Exhale back down. And make your way up and back to down dog. Breathe in and out here. Look a little forward, walk your feet up, plant your feet beneath you. And then reverse swan dive. Sweep your arms out, inhale and rise up, reach up. Exhale, arms down at your side. Great. Again, inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive. Hands to the floor, step back to down dog. Take a breath here. Exhale and lower to straight arm plank. Let's try side plank. We're going to roll to the sides of the feet and lift one arm up. We can let the hips lower a bit. We can let them lift a bit, or we could just be holding this down and up and down and up. One more. As you lift up this time, let's try and hold it up there. Take a breath. Great. Then come back to your plank. We'll roll to the other side. Press down to reach up. Let's lower the hips down and lift them up. Lower the hips down and lift them up. Two more. Lower them down and lift them up. Last one. Lower down. Lift it up and hold. Take a breath. Come back to plank. Lift back to down dog. Breathe in and out. And then lower to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows. Keep those hips supported. Take a breath. Exhale and lower all the way down to belly. Inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. Exhale back down. Make your way up and back to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out here. And then option to drop to knees and step the right foot forward, or lift the right leg up in the air with your in-breath, and then draw that knee up and in, look forward and step that foot through to lunge. So we make our way to a right foot forward lunge, letting the hips sink into this lunge, really planting that front foot. And then let's come into externally supported lunge. So we're going to bring our forearms onto our front thigh. Can we press back through the heel and lengthen through the crown so we feel that nice long line of energy? Then we'll bring our hands to heart. So we're supporting this internally now. We'll take a breath in. As we exhale, let's twist to the right. So twist around your spine. Hands could stay to heart, or elbow could go to the outside of the knee to deepen that twist. Take a breath in your twist. Let the breath go. Unwind yourself. And then could you press into the front foot, straighten the front leg, bring your hands to hips, and we're going to bend the front knee and push down to straighten. Bend the front knee, push that foot down to straighten that front leg. Couple more. Bend the knee, push down to straighten. This time, let's bend the front knee and keep it bent. Drop the arms down, sweep them forward and up and overhead. Arms, shoulders, ribs lift as we breathe in. And then bring your hands back to heart and lean forward again. Option to stay here, or could we step that back foot in a bit? Bring the weight onto the front leg, straighten the front leg, lift the back leg up, tip forward into balancing warrior, and hold here for a breath or two. Just one more breath here. Then bend the standing leg, step the back foot down. We'll bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Option to stay here or take a break if you like on your knees, or we can flow again into straight arm plank. A little bend in the elbows, and then coming all the way down. Then inhaling up to baby cobra or cobra. Exhaling back down. Making our way up and back to down dog. Breathing in and out here. Option to drop to the knees and step the left foot forward, or lift the left leg up in the air with your in-breath. Hug that knee up and in, look forward and step that foot through to lunge. We arrive in our low lunge here. Hips can drop down. And then let's bring the forearms on the front thigh for that externally supported lunge. Press back through the heel, lengthen through the crown. Then we'll bring our hands to heart, internally supporting this lunge. We'll take a breath in here. As we exhale, let's twist around the spine to the left. Hands could stay to heart or elbow to the outside of the knee to deepen that twist. We'll take a breath in here. And then let's unwind back to center. Now we're going to push into the front foot, straighten that front leg, bring our hands to hips. Let's bend the front knee, push that foot down to straighten that front leg. Couple more like that, bending and straightening and bending and straightening. And one more time like that. Yeah, whoops. Now we're going to bend the front knee, keep that knee bent, bring our hands back to heart, lean forward a bit. You could just stay here, or you could try stepping the back foot in, bringing the weight onto the front leg, straightening the front leg, trying to lift the back leg up and hinge forward here. Trying to hold balancing warrior here just for 2 breaths. Nice, let's bend the standing leg, step the back foot down, bring our hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And let's exhale down onto knees, and we'll sit back into child's pose. Take a moment here. Check in with how you're doing. Connect with your breath, your body, how you're feeling, and your intention this morning. Sometimes the thing that we're breathing in is something that we'd like to also breathe out into the world. Sometimes we can be here and we can be focusing on our exhale as a way of letting something go, releasing something out. So let your breath be therapeutic for you here now. Breathing in what serves you, breathing out what seems right for you this morning, here now. With your next breath in, lift your head up, reach the arms out. Again, we'll make our way to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And then let's walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down. We're going to bend the knees and lower the hips. Sweep the arms forward and sit back in a low chair here. Arms could stay forward, or we can reach them up alongside the ears. We'll breathe in and out here. And then let's push into the feet and legs to inhale and rise up, reach up. And we'll exhale our arms down at our sides. Great. Okay, let's work on shoulders a bit more. We're going to pick up our straps. We're going to come into a wide stance. And let's turn our right foot in and turn our left foot out. We'll take that strap and we're going to hold it in that front hand. I want you to rest it in the palm of your hand with a shorter part of the strap in front and a longer part of the strap in the back, so that you can grab that strap, bring your arm up, bend your elbow, and that long part of the strap is dangling down. And then with your other hand, grab that long part of the strap. And so your hands are along the line of your spine, behind your head or your upper back, and then your bottom hand. So your hands are along the line of your spine. You can walk your hands closer together so that top elbow is kind of pointing up, so bottom elbow is kind of pointing down, and just kind of pull up and down. So make this a little more active here. Rather than just holding the strap, you're pulling the top hand up, the bottom hand down. And as you're pulling up and down, let's bend the front knee and straighten the front knee. So now as you bend the front knee, pull up with your top hand and see if you can bring your bottom hand up a little bit. And as we straighten the knee, pull down with the bottom hand and see if you can pull your top hand down a little bit. So we're pulling up and we're pulling down. And we're pulling up and we're pulling down. It doesn't have to be a big movement, but rather than both arms working and there's no movement, there's a little bit of movement. The top arm is winning, pulling the bottom hand up. The bottom hand is winning. Yeah. All right, one more time like that. And then the next time the knee is bent, let's go back to pulling up and down simultaneously. So there's no movement, but there's a lot of work happening. And take a breath. And then just kind of tip over. Don't have to go real far. And then bring yourself back up. You're still pulling on the strap. Tip yourself over. And then bring yourself back up. Again, tip yourself over. And bring it back up. One more time. Tip it over. And bring it back up. All right, straighten your front leg. Release your bottom arm. Release your top arm. Shake it out if you like. Bring your feet forward. Let's go to the second side. We'll turn that back foot in. We'll turn that front foot out. Now we'll bring that strap, place it in the palm of the other hand with the shorter end in front, the longer end in back, so that you can bring the arm up, bend your elbow, and you can grab that longer end with your other hand. And then get your hands aligned with your spine, right in the center of your body. You can walk them closer together. And then pull up and down simultaneously again. So the shoulders are working here. And as you're pulling up and down, we'll bend that front knee. So you're pulling up and down simultaneously. We'll straighten the front leg. You're pulling up and down, bend the knee. Now, as you straighten the leg, pull up and bring that bottom arm with it. As you bend the knee, pull down and bring the top arm with it. Pull up and pull down. And pull up and pull down. Couple more. Pull up and pull down. And pull up and pull down. Now stay here and pull up and down simultaneously. Breathe, straighten up. Great. Now as you're pulling up and down, can you lean over a bit? And then come back up. Leaning over a bit. And coming back up. Two more. So we're hinging from the hip. We're trying not to bend at the waist. Coming back up. And hinging over. And coming back up. Great. Straighten your front leg. Release your bottom arm. Release your top arm. You can shake it out if you like. Bring your feet forward, parallel. Take your strap behind you. Grab it with both hands. Let's push down into the feet and legs and straighten up as we breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to hinge forward to flat back. Your knees can soften here if you like. Now pull the strap apart and continue to hinge all the way over till your head drops down. Your knees can bend here, soften. And then can we reach the arms up? Your grip might widen. Reach the arms up toward the ceiling. Maybe they drop a little forward as the head drops down. Breathe in and out here. Then pulling that strap apart, reach it towards the wall behind you as you push into your feet and legs and come halfway up. Pause here to release your breath. And then push down and inhale and rise all the way up. Great. And then walk your feet together. And then release your strap. Great. All right. Make your way all the way down onto your backs. And we're going to set up for bridge pose. So lie all the way down with nothing under your head, with your feet on the floor, hip distance apart, heels kind of under your knees, arms at your side. Let's actually take one leg and straighten it out. And then I want you to slide that heel in towards you. And you notice how the hamstring fires as you do that? And then place that foot down. And then push that foot down into the floor. Feel how the back of the leg works, the hamstring. Try that with your other leg. Straighten the leg out. Slide it back in towards you. Feel the hamstring working. It's kind of tricky. The mat might slide. Plant that foot and just push the foot down into the floor, waking up the hamstring on the back of that leg. Now, extend both legs out straight. It's going to be tricky with your mat, but can you slide your heels in and somehow not slide your mat up? And then plant your feet down and then push down. And initially, don't let anything lift up. You're pushing down and you're just really waking up those hamstrings. Now, as you continue to push down, go ahead and let the hips come up, 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 coming up into your bridge pose. So the feet are pressing down, the knees and shins are pressing forward, the hips are coming up, weight comes up onto the top of the shoulders. We'll take a breath at the top, and then let's lower down slowly, gradually, incrementally, releasing your vertebrae as gradually as you can, as you're rolling out, releasing, taking your time, trying to articulate, and eventually finding your way all the way down on your sacrum. Imagine your tail rolling out if you had a tail. Let's do that again. Push down into the feet to lift the hips up. Feet are pressing down, knees and shins are pressing forward, hips are lifting up. Come up as high as you can. Then could you lift your heels to maybe come up a bit higher? And could you try to keep at that height as you descend your heels back down? Take another breath at the top. And then lower yourself down. Nice and slow and easy and gradual. Feeling that spine releasing vertebra by vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, until you eventually arrive all the way down and let everything relax. Great. Okay. Keep one foot where it is and lift the other leg up, knee over hip. And then your bridges are not going to be as high now, but we're going to push down to lift the hips up and then lower the hips down. So with one foot, press down to lift the hips and lower down. Press down to lift and lower back down. So we're really targeting the back of that thigh on the foot that's on the floor. Let's do a few more. Pressing down to lift up and lowering back down. Pressing down to lift up and lowering back down. Last one. Press down to lift up. Let's hold this one up for a breath. And then lower back down. We'll change legs. So have the feet where they normally are. They want to be closer to the midline, and that's easier, but let's put them where they normally are, in line with the hip. Lift the other knee up over the hip, and then push down to lift up, and then lower back down. Push down to lift up, and lower back down. Push down to lift up, and lower back down. So it's not a high hip bridge, but we're working hamstrings and glutes here. Really important to keep those legs strong. So let's do a few more. And lift. And lift. And let's lift this time and hold it up there and take a breath. And then lower back down. Release that foot down. Let's roll to the side and push up to sitting. We're going to finish up with some seated twists. So you can start with your legs straight. And then let's hug the right knee in. Option for the foot to be on the floor here, or the foot could be crossed over. Let's take the right hand behind. And if you feel you need to sit up on something here to get your spine nice and upright, then slide a little something underneath, a block or a blanket. This arm here could be holding the knee, hugging the knee, or crossing over, whichever feels better for you. Let's root down to rise up and breathe in. As we exhale, let's spiral around the line of the spine to the right. So spiraling ribs, chest, shoulders, head and neck can follow. And as we're here, let's just take a few breaths in and out. Trying to allow the exhale to fully empty and release here. After your next full release of breath, you can start to gently unwind yourself back around. We can uncross that leg if it was crossed, and then change. So the other leg comes in. It could be here, or it could be crossed over. That left arm goes behind. We root down to rise up. This arm can be wherever works best for you. Find the line of your spine as you breathe in. And then with your exhale, spiral around ribs, chest, shoulders, head and neck. And then some deep breaths here. Letting that breath move in and down, and letting that breath empty and release. Nice deep breathing here. One more breath. And then let yourself unwind back around, uncross your leg. We're going to begin to transition to our final relaxation now. So if it's chilly where you are, you might want to put on some socks or a layer. You might want to find something to put under your head or under your knees. So set yourself up to be nice and comfortable and make your way to lying down. We take these final moments, these final minutes of our practice. We set them aside for this time where we get in touch with what it feels like to be in a relaxed state. You know, we get relaxed at night when we go to bed, right? Right before we fall asleep, we are pretty relaxed. But that's just sort of an unconscious experience. Now we're really experiencing what it feels like to relax. And rather than focusing on what we want to do now, we want to notice what it feels like when we don't ask ourselves to do anything. So when our muscles don't have to work to hold us up, they're going to relax. And all we need to do is allow that to happen. Allow the feet to relax. Let the ankles relax. Allow the calves to relax, the shins. Feel the knees relaxing. The front of the knees, the back of the knees. Invite the front of the thighs to drop into the floor. The back of the thighs to relax. And then give the entire weight of your hips to the ground. Let your belly soften, your gut unclench. Let your back, upper back release into the floor, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, heavy, relaxed. Allowing the area of the chest, the muscles in the chest and around the heart to soften and open. Let your neck relax. Let your jaw relax. Let your throat relax. Allow your eyes to relax. Allow your forehead to soften and smooth. Your temples relaxed, free. Your whole head now, soft, relaxed, smooth. And let your mind be like your body, just resting easy now. Arriving in a state of ease, openness. Lightness. We often feel constricted. We have areas where things just kind of get tight. And just like water can flow freely when there's no obstructions, when the body is relaxed, the energy can flow freely through the body, unimpeded, undisturbed. There's a little story in Mark Nepo's book of Awakening about Mencius, the grandson of Confucius, who said that just as water unobstructed will flow downhill, we, given the chance to be what we are, will extend ourselves in kindness. So the real and lasting practice for each of us is to remove what obstructs us so that we can be who we are, holding nothing back. If we can work toward this kind of authenticity, then the living kindness, the water of compassion, will naturally flow. We do not need discipline to be kind, just an open heart. So we're closing out our practice now. You're welcome to stay longer if you like. If you're ready to transition, you might open your eyes. You can bring your feet to the floor and gently roll to your side. Taking a moment or two there to transition. Eventually making your way up to sitting. You might choose to close out your practice with some quiet time for reflection, meditation, gratitude, or prayer. I wish for you a day of kindness to yourself and to all those you meet. Thanks for being here. Peace. And I'm so glad to have been able to share this with you all today.